What's going on? It's Monday, so you know what that means. The Lethal Collective, we're back at it. And today, guys, just when you thought you were safe to be in the woods or in the mountains or in freaking Alaska, wherever you may be, we may be dealing with cryptids. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, what's going on, gentlemen?
Just vibing. We're worried about foots that are bigger than they need to be.
Yeah, yeah, and we're not talking about trucks, monster trucks or anything like that either. Um, real quick, just to say what's up to you guys in the live chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We really appreciate your continued uh just support and love. Paula, what's going on? Good to see you, Paula. Hello, hello. Um, and she's so sweet. Nice to see you. You're all right. Julie, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Sarah, what's going on? Russell's in the chat. What's going on, Russell? Good to see you here today. All right.
Yo,
Um,
yo, yo.
he says this Bigfoot conversation should be interesting. Yeah, that's how we're looking at it too. Um, and Julie says definitely interesting, should be very funny. You guys keep picking awesome topics. Well, we appreciate that. We definitely have and Jake, I think you said it best last night. We're going into new territory, so to speak, and things that we think would be interesting to speak about, but might be interesting for our audience and plus newer audiences. And so we appreciate you guys sticking with us, hanging out with us. Um,
Absolutely. And I'm hyped to be talking about like just different things than what we usually do on our pages. If this is how you found us, that's so cool. I appreciate the heck out of all of you guys. If this is how you found us though, we all run separate horror channels.
mm,
Fate's kind of doing his own thing with basketball right now, which is awesome. We love that. We all do separate things besides this, but we come together on Mondays and we talk about weird shit and conspiracies. And I love it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So,
yeah,
but anyway, Knight, how do you just get into Bigfoot, man? What are your
yeah,
initial
bro.
thoughts on all this, man? Like, are you a Bigfoot believer?
Okay, so this is I've been waiting for this, and I've got your article, so I can pull that up once we get this beginning out of the way. I have had an interest in Bigfoot since I was a little kid. Okay,
Ooh, okay.
it's just a fascinating story, and there's so many accounts, and this almost is a parallel to what we spoke about last week with UFOs and so forth. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, growing up at a time and also being a horror fan, so that there is that little bit of a connection there. Things like this have always intrigued me, and I've always thought to myself, well, there's so many people that see Bigfoot or something that they are assuming is a Bigfoot. I've watched so many shows on Bigfoot over the years. Some of them that have been well made, some of them that were hokey. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's shows on like and no shade, but I'm just saying shows like on the Discovery Channel, like what was that one show? Finding Bigfoot, or I think it was what it was called. And it's entertaining for what it is, right? But you never see anything. You might hear some noises or squeaks, or for all we know, it could be a squirrel army. I don't know, bro. Who knows? Who knows, man? I'm not in the woods. Not only
Did you
that,
guys ever see that Rob Lowe show?
no. What was it?
Rob Lowe had a show where I think it's still on, where he basically like dove in and like tried to find like Bigfoot and like aliens and like it was like some like it was like a paranormal show he did with like his kids. It was actually pretty. I watched
Wow.
like a couple of episodes. It was like, and he
No.
had like some like one of the top like Bigfoot like hunters or whatever, and like they went into like these woods to try to find Bigfoot, and you know, you know how those shows usually go.
Wow.
They usually like see nothing, but like it's like,
Yeah,
oh, that
yeah.
must have been something. Yeah, like
Wow. I
anyway,
never heard of
I was
that.
wondering if you guys saw that. Yeah, check
Wow.
it out sometime when you can. It's pretty entertaining because it's like Rob Lowe, and you wouldn't like really expect that. But I guess apparently he's like his kids are like paranormal investigators, and like he's like super like into like the that world. So I never knew that. That's what like drew me in.
Okay, do you know about the Rob Lowe Bigfoot story?
That
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure, but I'm not familiar of the story.
Cause like what I'm getting from this, I was unaware that this show existed, but I have heard about the Rob Lowe Bigfoot story, which, to sum it up as quickly as I possibly can, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's just a goofy story. Basically,
Yeah.
Rob Lowe bought a Bigfoot costume and like wanted to scare his kids who were younger at the time, and like they were into that from a young age apparently. So he like bought this costume. It didn't fit. I'm running through this so fast. Like I'm missing a lot of details. I hope you know. It's supposed to be like this perfect, like imitation of what Bigfoot looks like. It didn't fit him. So he's like running through the woods. He can't see anything because like the eye holes are like up here, and he trips and falls and like these hunters find him and stuff. It was a disaster. Like, yeah, no. And like he talks about it and he's like, dude, like, he's like, if I died, if Rob Lowe, like, I'm a famous person, whatever. If Rob Lowe dies like in a Bigfoot costume out in the middle of the woods, like that's going to be one of the craziest Hollywood stories of all time. And that's
Right.
so fun. It's just so funny to me. I recommend looking into it. What I just spieled out was not of quality. Actually look up this story. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Something to chew on, though. A weird place to go during a Bigfoot stream, for sure. But
Hey, man, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, Sarah's right. It's called the Low Files. That's what
The
it's called.
Low Files. My goodness, I might have to
But-
check that out. But in these shows that you never see anything. You might hear some noises. I mean, there's been a couple times. There've been a couple episodes where it was interesting enough because there were some things that they found that truly did at least seemed unexplainable and could point you in the direction of something, whether it's Bigfoot or something, something that we don't normally see and so forth. So yeah, I mean, this stuff has been intriguing to me since I was a kid. Whether or not I believe in Bigfoot, that's a whole nother discussion. I will say this, because I don't want to jump ahead too far, but I will say this. It would not surprise me that there was a time at some point long ago, and I'm not talking about Star Wars, but at some point long ago where there could have been something like a Bigfoot or like, that particular species or what have you. So anyways, that's my intro.
Well, there was
my connection to Bigfoot. Okay.
There was the what is it called, the apothecipicus or something like that. They were these, not like, you can find, like, they have skeletal structures. They have like life size like recreations of them. They were real like ape species. They were like, they're Bigfoot to a T. They're like 9 feet tall. They're just these massive things. Like I said, if you just quick Google search, you'll see them. They're called like I believe they're the apothecipicus or something like that. But anyway, the point is that they are believed to be extinct, and a lot of like scientists and researchers and stuff believe if there is a Bigfoot, that it's very likely in the family tree of that, or is that
Okay.
because I mean, how many times have we thought something was extinct, and we find animals that we thought were extinct all the time. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, this bird or this whatever,
right?
We thought they were long gone, and then here they are.
Right.
And
exactly.
so like the theory is like, if the idea is like, if there is one of these things out there, it's probably adapted to avoid everything. Yeah, that greatest hide and seek champion of all
The
time.
greatest
Yeah.
hide and seek
That's
champion
right.
of all. He's undefeated. He's undefeated.
He is. He's undefeated. But it's just the if there is something out there, like the idea is that like it's adapted and it's figured out how to basically avoid everybody. Like everything. It's done a really good job of that. And that like,
dude, there are so many people who are, would love to learn this trait from Bigfoot, though. That's my thing. Like,
right.
like there's so many people that would love to just avoid people at all costs. So I mean, maybe Bigfoot's just a regular dude who grew out his hair and his beard. He doesn't give a shit anymore, That's my running theory. But Fate, real quick, are you a Bigfoot believer? Like, are you someone who thinks that he's out there? He's just out there mucking around.
I think it's sorry everyone, I'm sick. It's possible that there's things out there that we haven't discovered yet or that we think are familiar, right? Like, we're gonna start going through cryptids. Not saying like every episode, but we'll get through the Bigfoot and then we'll go into other ones. Like, I wouldn't be shocked, like even like Loch Ness and stuff like that. Like people are like, oh, like I don't rule out the possibility because there's all kinds of like crazy. Like every year we discover something like 1,000 new insects. We're still like there's still parts of like the planet that we've never discovered, right? Like what in like 2015 or something like that, they discovered like a cave that had an entire ecosystem in it, and like what was it, like Korea or whatever, and it's literally like this cave that's been untouched by man for like thousands of years, and it literally is like a 30-mile cave that has like an ecosystem or whatever. Like there's all kinds of stuff that like I mean the rainforest even like there's parts and remote places the rainforest that like people haven't even gone to. We haven't explored, like modern man hasn't explored, and we're doing like sonar things and little scans and all that stuff. Parts of the ocean. I mean, we only know of like 5% of the actual ocean. Like it's probably all kinds of stuff there. So to think like in these dense, remote woods that there's not something out there, I think is silly. But like at the same time, it doesn't mean that there is, right? I mean, it's just
Right.
one of those things. Like until the reason I lean towards there's not. So it's either there's not or there's so few of them that it's like at some point there probably won't be any. So we may never end up finding it unless we like dig something, because it's just you have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe even more, like people that actively like dedicate their lives to trying to prove Bigfoot, discover Bigfoot, track down Bigfoot. You have so many, I mean, and that's just like now, like think of all the years ever since like the first Bigfoot sightings. Every real Bigfoot sighting has been disproven. Like the most iconic one, I can't remember the guy's name, but like he came, like it was just him in a suit and everyone thought it was Bigfoot. The one where he's like walking in like there's like the wood or whatever. Like
we'll show it in a second here.
Yeah. Okay. So like that story turned out to be nonsense. There was recently, like a couple weeks ago, even a group of people on a train that thought they saw Bigfoot in a brush. And it turns out it was like a guy in a costume who was promoting some like fair or something like that. That was like down the street or whatever. And it was just like, and like they thought it would be good publicity or whatever. Like the reason I lean towards no is just like, it's just usually like, it's one thing if it's like aliens when we were talking about last thing, right? Because like aliens, like we can't just go and find aliens right now, right? It's not as simple as like, let's just caravan the stars and find an alien. But we can do that here. Like if we really wanted to discover Bigfoot, I think we would have by now, right? Like with as many encounters. And like I understand like people, there's a lot of people that have claimed stuff, but like none of them have ever captured like concrete evidence. No one's ever gotten a picture. No one's ever gotten anything. Like what's more likely that like they were attacked by like a bear or something like that, and in a panic they just saw this like 12-foot bear stand on its hind legs and thought like, oh, like especially if people aren't familiar with bears or you're in a scramble or whatever. Like and then like the woods, like people are always like, oh, but you hear the thing. Dude, like if you've ever camped in remote woods, the noise wind will have you hearing all kinds, like people whispering. You'll hear like sounds you've never heard before because of the way that it just like flows through the trees and stuff. Like there's all kinds of stuff in like, especially remote, dense woods that like, and even like trees falling, there's constantly trees falling. And like, that sounds like, depending on where you are, it can sound like 10 different things, right? That's if you're true. Close enough, Dude. It can sound like a nuke. If you're far enough, it sounds like it literally sounds like somebody just trekking through. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard a deer scream?
Yes.
No, not like in person, but it
is an unearthly, terrifying noise. Like
Agreed.
I don't know how else to explain it. Like I remember over the summer, me and my buddy Connor were sitting out in my backyard, and we're just, we're sitting, we're having a good time, whatever. It was like late at night, whatever. We're just bullshitting, and all out of nowhere, we just hear like like that. And dude, it was like a deer screaming or something. I'm like, what the? We were like, what the fuck is that? We went back inside so fast. Like I've seen enough horror movies. I'm like, nope, we're going inside. I'm locking the door. Screw that shit, dude. So point being that nature makes a lot of scary noises, man. Screw that. Stay the hell out of there. Maybe it is Bigfoot. But
Yeah.
You're smart enough to not investigate alone.
Yeah, nope. Let's split up, Connor. Let's go find out if it's Bigfoot, man. You go over there. Like, no.
Yeah, no. I mean,
it's true, man.
Like I said, like I always say with this stuff, like I subscribe to the I don't know. Like I don't know for certain. There's lots of things that we thought were, fairy tale, and turns out that it's not. Like, so could there be something out there? It's very possible. I mean, but to me right now, they're just kind of fun stories until we get like actual concrete proof. Like I enjoy the shows. Like there's a show on like, what is it? Travel or whatever. That's like, it's like stories of people like in the woods and like running into like scary monsters or whatever. And they're supposed to be true stories. Like I love that stuff. That stuff's so fascinating. I don't really necessarily buy any of it, but it's very fascinating. Like I said, I just think more times than not, people's experience of what they perceive to be paranormal really isn't paranormal. It's just the mind, and it's just the way that, especially if things are happening so fast. Like if you're being like literally chased and attacked by like a bear or something, like like everything's going so fast.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you don't know what's going on. If you're in a tent and there's something like just prowling your tent, like the fear, the anxiety, right? Like, especially if like I said, animals do weird things too. Like
They do.
And they do, like, I mean, all kinds of weird things. And even like there's all kinds of like just like, like you see like the two-headed fish or whatever and stuff. Like, like sometimes people like will stumble across things like that and think it's another species, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just I don't know is what I stand by, but I think it's more likely than not that there's nothing, just because it's like, again, you have so many people actively trying to prove Bigfoot with all of our technology, all of our advancements, people that are like literally experts in just like out in the wilderness and outdoors and stuff. And I understand like some of these forests are so dense, like you could explore it for tens of hundreds of years and probably never track down every single area. But it's like, like they'll find like what they believe to be evidence and trace the trail. Like either Bigfoot is just this expert in like covering its tracks. Like then at that point, you're talking about intelligence, like hyper intelligence, not like just like the common, like, animal intelligence. You're talking about like human level intelligence. So either there's a monkey out there that has human level intelligence, or there's not.
Well, I will say this. One thing that's interesting about a lot of those areas, the dense woods and all of this, at least from what you read and see on TV and documentaries and stuff like that, is that there's only a certain amount of time that these would be adventurous can spend time out there, and they can never really go super far away because it's so remote, so far away from safety and so forth. So that's the part that always makes me kind of think, well, maybe, I mean, I've seen so many documentaries and so many shows where they literally got themselves set up to camp. They've got the equipment, they've got the drones, they've got they got all this stuff, Happy Meals, they're ready to go. But they can only go for a certain amount of time, whether it's, a matter of days, a week, maybe 2 weeks or whatever. And, to me, I'm just thinking to myself, man, you probably got to go so far and be out there for so long, maybe even almost set up your own like campsite, for weeks, So that's the one part that always kind of intrigues me, is that some of these areas are just so remote. It's like, but that's where you would have to kind of go just to make sure, I guess. I don't know, that might just be me wishing that they are actually real, like right now today. I don't know, but that's the part that always makes me pause a little bit, you know?
It's definitely possible. Like I don't
Mm,
rule it out. You know what I mean? Like I said, if there is something out there, it's adapted enough to avoid us, right?
right.
Because it probably watched all its other relatives and stuff just get slaughtered by man and captured and stuff like that. That any remote sign of it, and I mean, just like anything, if you stretch on its territory, it's gonna attack. You know, so could some people maybe have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time or whatever and been attacked by this thing? Like, sure, it's possible. Of course, it is. It's just like I just lean towards like either, like I said earlier, either there's very few, like, and I'm talking like a handful of them, like throughout the world, or they just don't exist. Because if there was
Mm.
like an abundance of them, if there was like, even a couple hundred, after all these years, one of them would have messed up. One of them would have stumbled in the wrong
Somebody would
area,
have
or
somebody
somebody
would
would
have
have seen it.
yeah.
Yeah. So either it's just like there's like, you know, a Bigfoot or seven or two Bigfoots. But the problem is that like if there are only like, let's say there's only one Bigfoot, we may never, even if it does exist, we may never discover it. Because that means it can't repopulate. That means it can't like even if it can live, let's say it can live 300 years, which would be crazy for any species, right? Like at some point that thing's going to die off and we'll never know. So like
Mm,
there has to be at least enough to procreate. But even then, at like what point does there become enough to where we discover them? And like I
yeah.
said, maybe it is like an apothecopicus that's out there running around, right? Because I mean, that's an animal that actually existed, that we know existed. That there's photos of like people standing next to them, like so it is a real thing, and it's Bigfoot to a T. It's this 9 foot tall, just ape. But the the problem with, or the reason people have concerns with that idea is they were, I believe, like South Asia type creatures, like they were very remote. But we've seen all kinds of things just like make their way here, or like make their way to other places, via boat or whatever, or just like, maybe someone captured one as a pet one day, 100 years ago, or took two of them and just brought them over here, and they just have been running wild in the forestry for the last whatever. So, but anyway, it'll be interesting to see.
Hey
Hey, what's
guys,
going on, Steven? Good to have you, man.
thanks. Glad to be here. Sorry I'm behind everybody, but glad to be here. Good to see you,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, hey, we've kind of given our thoughts as far as what we think of Bigfoot, the legend of Bigfoot, and the
Yeah.
possibilities and so forth. Do you have your own story that you'd like to share as far as what you think of Bigfoot or any connection you've had to the legend itself?
Yeah, actually, this is a friend of mine who I won't say who because I didn't specifically ask him permission. He probably wouldn't care. But I have a friend that lives in Tennessee and in the country. All right, out in the and not necessarily the boonies, but I mean out very much in the country, all right?
Hmm.
And him and I have had some conversations, and how he has told me that he has seen what he describes as a Bigfoot Sasquatch type thing. Now,
Hmm.
what's interesting is he said that this thing has a very distinct smell,
Hmm.
a very strong odor.
Yep.
And he says that it's happened many times at night. And he said, and I was like, dude, have you got a picture? Do you have, he said, man, he said, anytime I tried to take my phone and like move towards a photo, the thing takes off. It's like it knows. It's like it's maybe it's something Faith said a second ago before I came on. It's learned, I think, how to hide and how to survive. And he's never been able to get a photo. And he's like, I'm not going to stop trying. And I said, do you need to get that photo? But basically, he said a lot of times he just smells it and he hears it.
Wow.
And it makes, he said he was out in the back porch one night. And no, in case you guys are wondering, not drowning down 40-ounce bottles. Because I mean, most people probably think kicking on the back porch, probably taking the bottle of, your favorite liquor. No, that's not actually the case with him. But he was in his back porch and it was at night. He's a smoker, so he's smoking outside. And he said, man, it scared the crud out of him. You heard this crazy sound. Like, he's lived out out there for a long time. He's heard a lot of wild animals. He knows like what different ones sound like. He said this was a crazy sound he's never heard before. And it was loud and it was close. And he said, I just immediately just jolted him and I'm looking all around, never saw anything, but he heard it. And then there's times where it's been in the early morning before sunrise, like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. And he goes out there. And the minute he opens the door, he smells it.
Wow. And
he said, every time that he's heard it or it's been around there, it always has the same odor. It's just he's never smelled anything quite like it. It's just a very strong scent. And I'm like, wow, this is very interesting stuff. I mean, I haven't experienced it, but it's happened to him multiple times, and he's convinced absolutely that is of what it is. He's like, yes, he is like completely confident in Bigfoot's some variation of what we think of Bigfoot is, but it stands on 2 feet.
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I wanted to share that tonight because it's crazy.
The smell is something that popped up in a lot of what I read about. Like everyone kind of says there's some kind of weird smell that comes along with like Bigfoot tracks or whatever. I think that's really interesting. I'm personally not really like I don't believe personally. Like I do believe in a lot of things, but Bigfoot it's a stretch to me. But I will say there's some weird consistencies between different stories out there, and that's a big one that I've heard a lot after reading about it. That's something I didn't know. I knew about the big feet; it's in the name. I knew about the ape-like stature and all that, but I did not know about this nasty smell. So all of you, just so you know, Bigfoot stinks. It's disgusting. We love it. Interesting, just an interesting little thing there.
But that is a consistent part of the story is they talk about that it's a very distinct smell, and anytime, especially when you have someone kind of like what you were saying, Stephen, when you have someone that is well versed with nature and or hunting and animals and trapping and all that different type of stuff, they'll describe the smell as something that it definitely isn't. In other words, they're not confusing it with like a bear or bear scat or stuff like that. So that is a very interesting part of this story, of this legend, because look, man, Stephen, I've said this a lot of times, man, 2 + 2 has always been 4. It's never been anything else. So all I'm saying is all of these different things just make you wonder, and whether or not, like I said, if it's right now in today's world, or if it at least was at some point in the past. I mean, wow. I just don't know. Kind of like Tyler said, I don't know. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, that's what I subscribe to. But real quick, so it's called the Gigantopithecus, and it was believed to be around 440 to 600 pounds. It was once argued to be a hominin, a member of the human line, but it is now thought to be closer aligned with orangutans, classified in the subfamily Paginia, something like that. But yeah, so basically they were just these giant 9-foot, basically everything that we think, or everything we associate Bigfoot to be. They're, these giant, massive, like just huge monkey type creature that and I mean, like, even if you look up pictures of it, like it resembles Bigfoot perfectly. Like, and they have, and they know that these used to exist. Like I said, that they have evidence. They have found bone structures. They have like you can go to like museums, and they have like these museums in there of these Gigantopithecus, and they look just like what people believe Bigfoot to be, like identical. So that's why a lot of scientists and stuff say, like, if there is a Bigfoot out there, that's very likely what this is. It's this Gigantopithecus that is just roaming out there in these dense forestries. But yeah, anyway, I just, because I felt like, so it is, it's either, so there's the so I was right. So it is the Apothopithecus, and then the Gigantopithecus are like the two, there was different ones. Like, so one was like an ape, one was like closer related to an orangutan, but they were just these giant apes. So they think it's one of those.
Can you say both of those words again, but like three
same,
times really fast?
Gigantopithecus, Apothopithecus.
Wow,
Okay, can we just give a round of applause to Fate for a second here? Like, my man's sick. My man's sick, and he's still doing that. I love it.
That's what I am. That's what I'm
The
doing.
commitment is real.
It's impressive. Next thing you'll have a line of shirts, a line of merch.
Apothopithecus.
Whatever.
Exactly. There's a movie idea for us.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Gigantopithecus. Revenge of the Apocalypse. What is it? Revenge of the
Gigantopithecus or Apothopithecus.
Revenge of the Apocalypse.
Bro, if someone just comes to the stream right now, they're gonna be like, "What are these yahoos talking about?"
Bigfoot is what we're talking.
Wow.
He's real.
Yeah,
he's real.
People are like, Fate's just using big words, just to use big words. I'm like one of those people in words like, you're exacerbating an already tenuous situation.
Right.
What?
That means you're making a very tedious.
That's too bad.
That means you're making a very
way
tedious
too
situation worse.
That's right.
You're exacerbating an already tenuous situation. I mean, you're making a small situation worse.
Dude.
You're making a very
exacerbating.
Small.
God, you guys are uneducated swine.
Small. What?
Read a book.
Read a book. Read a dictionary.
So look, and by the way, welcome to you guys that have just come into the chat not too long ago. We appreciate you guys coming in here. It looks like you guys are having a fun conversation as well.
This is clearly the sensual portion of the program.
It's never been more sensual.
Get used to that.
I knew Jake was gonna say something.
Oh yeah,
Get used to
that's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So how about if we reference the article that you had put together? Well, not put together, but that you
I wrote this myself for outside.com. I put together the 10 most convincing Bigfoot sightings. This is all me.
Stop. All right.
It is with your Apothopithecus.
Oh shoot. What the hell? Okay.
Oh,
so
man.
Jake, I'll let you kind of take this part over. This is too funny, man.
How funny would it be if it just said none?
It's zero.
Bigfoot isn't real, guys. Oh my god. No. So these are like the 10 most like.
I know.
I don't know if convincing. I don't know if is the right word, but like these are the most like popular Bigfoot sightings, so to say.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun to go through these, say like how we feel about them. I think Fate said earlier, like pretty much every sighting has been disproved. So I don't know if the conversation is going to be like, is this real? Because like, I think all of these are fake, but let's talk about which one is the most convincing. We have 10 to go through. I said, we talk about our top 3. Which ones do we think could be the most real? If not,
I like that, Jay. Good premise, brother.
It's a fun little game.
It's what could be. It's not what is. I like that.
Exactly.
He's a pro.
He said all pro, man. What are you talking about? All pro, baby.
All pro, yeah.
All pro, man. Top 100 team of the decade.
Yeah,
I appreciate
of
that,
all
man.
time.
All
pro. This image obviously is
so convenient,
so famous. What? It's so convenient.
So convenient. Even to get him looking at the camera.
Hello.
He's over there.
Bro, when you see the video of it, have you guys ever seen the video of it? How
Yeah.
it walks all weird and stuff, though.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got like a weird thing with his arms, right, or something.
Yeah, and they swing very inhuman like, but I guess
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. Which one is this? Is this the Patterson one?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Okay.
named Doug Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson, Roger Patterson.
Roger Patterson. There you go. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
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 So I guess we start at the top. Knight, how convinced are you of this, man? Is it convincing for you?
I'll tell you what. As a kid, I was pretty damn convinced because I used to see a lot of documentaries on it and stuff, and they talked about how just the movement was just awkward. If it was fake, how could it have moved like this? And of course, this was from way back in the day. I can't remember when. Was this the 60s? I can't remember.
It says later on. I think it's 1967.
Yeah, 67. Yeah, Roger Patterson, Bob Gimley. So there was no CGI back then, is what I was getting at. And even this even talks about it here in the little blurb here. But anyways, when I was a kid, yeah, it really caught my attention. I was thinking, man, it's real. Of course, a lot of things have been disproven and so forth. But I will say, other than the fact of, they took the picture when it was looking. Okay, so it wasn't like it was sitting there posing, right? But other than the fact of that, it was pretty convincing, man, as far as the way it moved and everything. I was like, man, 1967, they had some pretty good looking costumes. You know what I'm saying? We're talking we're talking above the level of Planet of the Apes. I mean,
it wasn't a dollar store costume.
It was not. This was not like Michael's mask in Halloween 4. Okay, guys, this was
hardware store.
That's right. This was top level stuff that looks really, really convincing, at least to me when I was younger. But of course, and let me just pull it back up here. Yeah, I mean, look at that guy. He knows what he's doing. How about you, Jake?
Like I noticed two things about the photo, like immediately, like if I really had no idea, like if this was real or not. I'm noticing two things. So first of all, it's a perfectly set, like almost perfectly centered and like not shaky or anything. And this doesn't look like the situation that goes through my head, right? When you're thinking about taking a picture of Bigfoot is what kind of more what Steven was describing earlier, where it's like, oh my God, Bigfoot, you know what I mean? Whip out the camera, the phone, whatever, snap that. That's not going to be this like picturesque thing of the woods. It's just too perfect. It's straight. It's a perfect photo. And then Bigfoot is looking almost right at the camera, almost in center frame. It's too perfect. It's too perfect. Like it needed to be a little like crooked or something or freehand. It looks like it's on a tripod. It looks like Bigfoot is like posing for the photo. There's just a little too much with it to make it's a little too perfect, I guess is my point.
And Ghostface Fanatic says it's not fake. This is real. This is real life. No, I well said, Jake. I think I pretty much agree with everything you said. How about you, Steven?
I can go next.
Okay. Yeah, actually,
we're skipping fate.
I didn't mean to do that. I was just kind of looking. I just looked really quick.
No, that's all right. Go ahead, Fate.
Don't mess with me. I got multiple screens open.
No, brother, you're good. You're good, man. And I can't just say this before Fate starts. Ghostface Fanatic is right. It's not fake. It is a real video.
Yeah, it is a real.
It's a real picture. Now,
I never denied that. I never
don't know what's in it is real, but it's a real picture. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, Fate. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Fate.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that made this showed you. They did a whole video on how they did it. Like, there's literally a video of them showing how they made the footprints and how they like made the costume and all that stuff. So I mean, again, like this has been debunked, but this was the one for like decades that people really thought was like, oh, this is the most concrete evidence. The problem is like, yeah, it is too fake, it is too staged, it is too like convenient, right? And more likely than not, if there ever is any real like if there ever is any real like concrete like photo or video of Bigfoot, it's very likely going to be like him running through a forest. Like it's going to be hard to make out. Like unless you just like capture him like eating at like a river bed or something, and you just like happen to be at the right place at the right time. Like this again, it's just like even like the whole thing of Bigfoot is he's like in these like dense forests, and now he's like just chilling at like a shoreline or something. He's
He's looking
just
for
like
the fish, man. He's looking for the fish.
he's just sunbathing right now. He's just out there. Yeah. And like and not just that, but like the whole like we talked about earlier, like if Bigfoot exists, it's mastered the ability to avoid people.
Yeah.
So like if that person's just chilling out there, like Bigfoot isn't gonna be like that close to where you could snap it. Because this was in like what, like in the 60s, right? Somewhere?
Yeah, 67.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so it wasn't like we had these like super high tech where you could be like on a boat, 3 miles away and scope in and get a perfect picture. Like, no, like you had like, like you had like the flash pictures, like, so I just yeah, it's too convenient. We already know that it's fake. Like the people that made it explained how they did it. But yeah, I mean, I want there to be evidence. I want there to be something. That'd be cool.
I want to believe.
Unfortunately, this isn't it. I want to believe. But anyway,
right.
Craven.
Yeah. This was the gold standard. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, growing up in the 80s, I remember seeing this, they would have this TV specials, mysteries of the unexplained or all that kind of those kind of shows. And I remember seeing it when I was a kid, like Knight was talking about. And yeah, man, it was impressive. I mean, when I first saw it, of course, I was a kid, but I was like, dang, man, that looks really real.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, I agree with what Fate is saying. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much public knowledge, I think, now that this particular photo or video was manufactured. And they did a good job, man. Look how many decades and years that their little video was like all over the world. I mean, it was huge. It was like this was the best we have for Bigfoot. So, whether Bigfoot exists or not, that's not really what we're commentating on now. We're just commentating on the picture.
Yes.
And is it convincing? So I have to agree with Fate. It's not convincing anymore, but they did a great job. And if you can pull a hoax on the world, and it helped be in the 60s, right? It would be easier to pull off back then than it would be now with our technology. But if you can make a little short film and it, and even though it's a hoax, it goes viral. This is like going viral before viral was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing went viral in those days. And, 20 years later, we're still talking. I mean, I'm talking about in the 80s where we were still talking about it as being real.
Yep.
Hey, my hat's off to them. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Well
Good
done.
point. Good point.
And they definitely spent money, Knight, on that costume. All their budget went to that costume because
they did.
They had to make it as real as possible.
Right.
And,
I wonder how much it was. I don't remember hearing.
Seriously. I bet it was.
I mean, they very likely made it themselves. I don't remember. Like I said, there's like a documentary with the guys that like show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I gotta watch it.
I gotta watch that too. We should do a watch party night.
I don't
That
remember
would be
what the
interesting.
documentary is,
Bigfoot
but it's
watch
like
party.
it was like some things,
Yeah.
and like they basically made like a cast of like this giant foot, and then they put like a pole on it, so they were able to like stomp like to like
Dang.
make the things like there was like a whole thing on it. Like it came out, I think it was in like the early 2000s or like the 90s, like it's like the 90s or 2000s. There's like some old documentary about like Ghostface Fanatic. We're not necessarily saying that Bigfoot is fake. We're saying that this is fake.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's very likely.
Right.
It's very likely that Bigfoot exists. It's just that this particular
Right.
thing is fake. Like that's what we're saying. We're not saying like Bigfoot in general. Like we talked. You probably weren't here earlier. We all kind of gave our thoughts on it, But
Yeah.
like I said,
And
I
like-
subscribe to I don't know.
Yeah,
If
well,
you
you know what
believe
else
in-
I subscribe to? I subscribe to Sarah coming in with a $2 super chat.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We really, really appreciate you helping to
Yes.
support us in such a generous way. Seriously, it's awesome. And thank you so much. She says, but why does he walk like the Grinch, though?
He's a mean one,
That was
Mr.
great.
Bigfoot.
Sarah's on a roll today, man. That's awesome stuff, man. Sarah,
Yeah.
you're all right.
It's true though.
It
You
is
really
true.
think about it. The Grinch does kind of walk like that, man.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. I didn't.
Maybe
Yeah.
Jim Carrey made it like that purposely.
Oh,
Maybe
that was good.
he studied this video.
It fits
Yeah.
with Bigfoot. He doesn't want people to see him. You know,
Yeah,
he's just like,
exactly.
screw that.
Very
He
He
true.
doesn't just hate Christmas. He hates everybody and everything. He just wants to
There
be
you
left
go.
alone in
That's
his little
right.
cave.
Yes. Hell
Mhm.
yeah, hell yeah. And also someone else that doesn't want to be left alone is Denisha, because she has a channel member anniversary for
Hey.
1 month.
Hello.
Right.
Heck
All
yeah.
right.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you, Denisha. We appreciate you. You know that, seriously. And seriously,
Yes.
thank you. Saying keep up the good work. Love y'all's growth. We'll be bigger than you know. Hope one day.
Aw.
Hope one day to get the Cobra Kai.
Keep hoping. Never give
Yeah,
up.
hope alive.
That's
If
right.
you dream it, you never know.
That's
I
right.
still have yet to see an episode. I gotta
Dude,
say,
me
like,
too,
That's
man.
hilarious.
No, come on.
Seriously.
I haven't seen a single episode.
haven't
of
seen
it.
a single
It's good,
Oh.
man. I'll tell you this. If you were a
Ooh.
fan of the movies
I love the
at all,
movies.
then
Oh.
here's a test for you, Jake. I dare you to watch the first 2 episodes and see if you could stop.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
right.
Okay.
Seriously, because now for me, and of course, I don't want to go too far with this, but I get excited about this shit, you know. But I said to myself, man, this is a bad idea, or possibly a bad idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't want them to ruin, not that it would ruin, but you know what I'm saying. You know where I'm getting at with this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tarnish it. You
Watch
know?
exactly, which it could never do, but you know me being a silly fan. I watched those first 2 episodes. I couldn't stop. I
Nope.
couldn't stop, and I couldn't believe that I couldn't stop. Seriously, it is great
Ooh.
stuff. Seriously, I'm behind
yeah.
on it, but it's
Yeah,
great
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, you're behind. Oh gosh,
I
man.
am.
Dude. You got to catch up through everything
Yeah.
because I'm going to say this. I was immediately impressed with the writing.
Yeah.
The writing
Yeah.
is well done, and
Yep.
the character development we always talk about
Yes.
is so strong in this series.
Yep.
And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm just going to say this. Yeah, and you'll understand in that first season and how it's laid out. But it offers so much more in-depth look into Johnny Lawrence and
Yeah.
Daniel LaRusso.
Exactly.
And it
And
like
that's the
takes
beauty
what
of
we
it.
knew from the movies, right? But it opens it up, man.
It really does, man. I mean,
Oh,
there was.
gosh.
I'm not going to spoil it either, but there was this
Yeah.
moment in one of the episodes. I can't remember which one. You'll know it when you see it. If you're a big fan of the movies, I'm not going to lie. I literally cried. I was like, wow.
Oh yes, me too.
So, like it really hit me in the feels, man. So it's a good show.
Woo, man. Watch party.
Hey.
Dude, I want to go through the movies again. Like I haven't seen them since I was younger, you know. I'd love to watch all those and then start the show or something, you know. Is
Yes.
that like
There you
Yeah,
go.
I would do that. That would be a great way to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
especially the first 2 Karate
2.
Kids.
the first? I remember loving
those
the
are the
first
ones.
2.
Yep,
Yeah.
those are the ones.
That's
There's
really what
a-
you need to watch first.
Yeah.
There's a series on your channel, Jake. You watch each movie and then you give your critique on it, and then it's like a journey through the
Yep.
series.
Sure
There you go.
good.
There it is. There
Like
it
every
is.
episode, you give a critique.
Yep.
I've been
You know,
thinking about
I'm-
doing that like with something. You know what I mean? Like I've been
Yeah.
wanting to start a series on something because I kind of just do the updates now. That would be so much fun to just do that with like Cobra Kai or just something I
Right.
haven't seen
Yep,
before
yeah.
or aren't as familiar with. I don't know, something like
So
that.
Yeah,
good.
That's
a,
fun.
A change.
Isn't
of
there
pace,
like
no doubt.
6 seasons though?
I think so.
Something like that already. It's just
Lots
so
of
much
content,
stuff.
dude.
They
This
go
is fun,
fast
yeah.
though.
Yeah, they're fast. They're like 30 minutes, 30, 40
Oh, so-
minutes tops.
So they're
Yeah.
not like an hour long episode.
No.
No. And I promise you, the way they end each episode, you're like, seriously? How can I just stop this and pick it up
Right?
tomorrow?
It's true.
I got it's like I gotta go one more.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah.
then you go one more, and guess what?
And you want another.
another
Yeah.
I can't stop now either. It's
Yeah.
that kind of
I mean,
show, man.
the fact that it started out on YouTube, I believe.
It did.
And then they were basically like, no, this is really, really good. We're going to bring it on a true streaming, not true, but on one of the platforms. I can't remember which one, whether it's
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, that probably tells you all you need to know.
Yep.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, so let's go. Let's go back. But thank you, Denisha. Seriously, we love you. And
Hey,
who knows,
guys? I know I was late, so you may have already covered this, but so sorry. Since Denisha is celebrating her anniversary, we talked about memberships today.
If you would like to help support this channel and support us in this new journey that we are making, then please consider hitting the join button next to the subscribe button, and you can become a channel member of the Lethal Collective. We have been so honored for you guys that have already done so. It's really, really a big help to us. And we've already been able to kind of touch upon some requests. And that's going to be something that we really are looking forward to as well, because it gives us really cool ideas for our future content. So yeah, become a part of the Lethal Collective channel membership. Become part of the family. Do it.
Right. That's right. Be part of the Lethal Collective yourself as a channel member.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Denisha. We appreciate you saying that. Oh, and hey.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, we got another 1 monther.
Yeah.
Another 1 monther. The wig master herself, Julie, saying, thank you for the amazing show. Been relying on you guys on Monday nights and previously Friday nights for a long time. And she has. Let me just say, man, and I've said this before, and thank you, Julie, because Julie would leave comments like religiously, and a lot of times I would pour through the comments and answer what I could, but Julie would always have a comment, always just thanking us for what we're doing and what we're providing for the show and conversation and the fun and so forth. So thank you, Julie, and also for becoming more visible in all of our communities. It's been a very, very cool thing, so thank you. And whoa, the waterfall continues,
gentlemen.
That's right.
Do go chasing waterfalls. That's what we say around. This DLC has a different message.
That's right. And you will not be a scrub. And that is Carrie Craves Cinema. Thank you so much, Carrie, for joining the channel membership. You're all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. All the love.
We do.
So
no doubt.
Thank you, Carrie.
We can't do it without you guys. We really, really can't.
You besos.
Okay, so look, Jake, we're gonna move down to our next part of this article, and it did have a little bit of a blurb. We really covered it already for the photo, for the Patterson and Gimli in Northern California photo, but next, the Marble Mountain Bigfoot. Look at that.
Oh, wow!
Right?
I mean,
so what's going on there?
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
We got some news here. We just got another channel member.
Hey!
Queen.
Let's go.
That. Wow.
Blowing you besos too.
Wow. That is awesome. Very cool.
Awesome.
Sarah, the queen.
Thank you so much.
The queen has stepped into the palace, literally. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Sarah, Carrie, you guys are awesome.
We really appreciate you guys. And let me just say this, and I know a couple of us have talked about this before, especially for you guys that are supporting us here and you support us on our channels too. We don't take that lightly.
No,
we really, really don't, because we understand what that means. I mean, like I said earlier, 2 + 2 is always going to be 4. So the fact that you guys are doing that, it really means a lot. I'm not trying to sound all melodramatic, but it truly does mean a lot, because you guys support us here and also on our individual channels, and that's hella generous. It really is. Thank you. Seriously.
Like Jake said, family.
Family.
That's right.
Family.
Yeah,
I got my family.
That's all we got. That's all we got is family. Let's go to
all you need.
space.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need. You just need loud cars and family. As a reborn gearhead, that's what I know about life. That's all you need. That's really all you need if you're a Fast X fan. Sarah, we appreciate it though. Thank you so
You
much.
made one mistake. You didn't take my car.
The best movie ever made. Sorry, I know this is about Bigfoot, but if you haven't seen Fast X, you're missing out.
Did you see?
There you go.
time out. Did you see Vin Diesel's interview where he's talking
Yes.
about? He's like, I got to the point. I only want to make masterpieces or whatever.
Dude, and he's like, I know we delivered the greatest cliffhanger in Universal film history, and I'm like, dude, what? Oh my god! Like
Wow.
the Vin Diesel. The more you read about Vin Diesel, the more interesting it becomes. I could do a whole stream on just that man. Okay, sorry. Bigfoot, laser focus. Don't get me started, man. Don't even say Fast X. If you say the word family, I'm out the window, man. My ADD just goes off the rails. Anyways, feats that are big. Marble Mountain, Bigfoot. Sorry.
What an image.
So okay, so look, man, I'm just gonna. Well, actually, Jake, I'll let you start, and then we'll go around, and I'll finish it. What do you think of this photo? What's going through your mind, man?
Okay, so first and foremost, I know the first thing you might think looking at this is that's just a guy going down the mountain. But here's my thing, right? Like with the other one, it's too crystal clear, it's too perfect. I think some people complain about oh man, this looks so shitty, I can't believe it. But I'm thinking about the situation. If Bigfoot walks past you, you're not planning for this. You're whipping out that camera as fast as you can. You're like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? And sometimes the camera doesn't pick up what the eye can see. This, to me, immediately is more believable than the last thing. Hot take. But I do think that this is just a guy with a backpack walking down the mountain.
What it looks like.
I mean, yeah, it does look like that. But I'm not even going to lie. Hot take. Step above the last one.
Okay, all right. How about you, Fate?
I think it's a guy wearing a backpack. I think you could see the backpack. Either that or Bigfoot has a hump in his back.
Yeah, you're right.
Either has a hump in his back, or that's just some guy wearing a big travel backpack. And how tall is this mountain? Right,
good question.
That's the thing. So how tall is this mountain? How big is this mountain? How based on size to mountain ratio. Also, if that is Bigfoot, why would he be at the top of this mountain? Is that just where he lives, or he's just chilling?
You don't know what Bigfoot does.
View? He just wanted to get a view. You don't question Bigfoot.
You don't question Bigfoot.
No, you don't.
Bigfoot does what Bigfoot wants. That,
Right.
I don't know. I feel like that just looks like some dude that's just walking down a mountain with one of those hiker packs. That's what it looks like.
Wow. Oh my god.
And it doesn't even look like a mountain. It looks like a little hill.
Like a hill.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, Craven.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys. I think clearly this is, well, I mean, to me, clearly it's a person with a, like I said, either a really big hump, but most likely it's a hiker doing the mountain thing or the hill thing or whatever. It says Marble Mountain, but it's the Marble Mountain Wilderness. So it could be a hill. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I think it's just a hiker, and the guy was a pretty good distance away, and oh, you know what? That's interesting. Maybe I can call him Bigfoot.
There you go.
When was this done? Was this before or after the last one? Do you know?
This was after, as far as I know.
There you go. He's probably wanting to cash in. So you know what? If it worked for that Patterson dude, let me try it. And so here we go. And here we are talking about it in 2023. So I guess it worked. But
so there you go.
Yeah.
So the description in the article that I wrote, it was me. It reads, a youth group was camping in the Marble Mountain Wilderness, California, when leader Jim Mills noticed a strange-looking creature skulking along a ridge nearby. He filmed it for nearly 7 minutes, making the somewhat grainy footage the longest video of an alleged Bigfoot sighting. That makes it a little more interesting, though. 7 minutes of footage of this?
Wow.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
See that, right? We actually see him walking.
Yeah, that's what I would love to see, man.
Yeah, that could change things if you see it moving versus just this shot here.
Right. That's what
So
I'm
I don't
thinking.
know. I think I'm gonna have to reserve judgment till we can find it. I bet it's on YouTube.
Well, I will say this, man, is that yeah, it looks odd, and it's grainy and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of looks like a guy with a backpack and his dog
Mm.
ahead of him. You see the dog? Like,
Oh my God!
Oh, it is a dog.
Whoa!
you didn't see the
I-
dog?
No.
I didn't see the dog. No, I did not. I thought that was just like a bush or something. That's
Well,
totally
hey,
a
At
dog.
first I thought it was too, but yeah, you're right. It is.
It
It is.
looks
a dog.
like
You
it
can see
to
the little
me.
tail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my! He's
He's
either
got
going to eat,
Fido up there.
Whoa!
he's trying to eat him for dinner, Michael Myers
Well,
style.
Well,
What's
there
his?
you go.
Or he's got a dog. Didn't Grinch have a
Yeah.
dog?
The Grinch had a dog.
Let's
Okay.
have a dog. Gosh.
There's a lot of consistencies, man. I'm starting to think Bigfoot is real, man. He's got a little dog. He smells bad. He's big and furry. You know what?
You and your
Yeah.
little dog too.
And you're a little dog too.
Bigfoot
Harry,
is
of
a big
course
fan of
I'm
the Wizard of Oz.
observant. What do you mean?
That's good. That's good, Night.
I'm just saying that's the first thing that came to my mind. That's why I was like, well, you guys go first. I didn't want to be that guy because I love dogs. Anyways,
I'd be embarrassed to use this as evidence.
right? Sarah says that's just Max.
Max, that's right.
Yeah.
Never seen him in the same movie before. That's a good point. That's a good
There
point.
you go. It's a good point, man. It's a good point. Okay, so that is our consensus on that one.
Hey, I have one last thought.
Sure.
What if what we think is a backpack is really a sack of presents that he stole from the folks that live around Marble Mountain?
It's true.
Oh my god, man.
Just saying, Grinch style.
Hashtag the
Funny.
Grinch is real.
That's right.
Hashtag the Grinch is real.
Mhm.
Oh
It's the
man.
mean one.
The mean
This-
one.
That's
This
right.
is just, dude. That movie was epic.
I still haven't seen that movie. Man.
Oh, you
I,
haven't seen that movie? The movie's great.
I know. I like I don't even care if it's bad. It's David Howard
It
Thornton,
is.
man. I gotta
It's-
watch
it's,
it.
It's a pile of dog poop, but it's great. It's a great pile of dog poop. I
Oh,
appreciate
gosh.
those kind of pile of, like I loved Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Like I thought that was great.
I still
Oh,
I never
man.
watched
It was so bad, but it was so good.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
funny.
man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Great
Wow.
stuff. But
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah,
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Okay, so let's go to another one here. Eric Shipton's snowy Bigfoot Yeti footprint. Okay, well look at that.
Huh.
Now that's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
It only has 3 toes. It's an alien.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Okay, so
yeah.
what comes to mind when you guys see that? Jeez.
That the Grinch only had 3 toes.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Just joking. I don't know how many toes he had.
So
I don't know, man.
Bigfoot's going into the snow.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Like, what's he
He
doing?
takes
there?
little steps too. Like there's one right there, and then there's one right there. Unless he's like standing, like walking like this. Unless he's like sideways. Like that's a weird like position.
It like
It is.
yeah. I don't know what's going on there, man. I don't like the big toe shape either. Like that doesn't look real to me.
Yeah,
It doesn't
well,
look- it loo-
especially
it
the
looks
middle toe
weird.
looks like
It's very
the middle-
circular.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like somebody carved that or like made that. And there's a pickaxe right there. Why is there a pickaxe right there? Oh,
Now, this was-
maybe to make the maybe to
Yeah.
make the footprint.
Well, maybe that was just showing the size. But it says that British explorer Eric Earl Shipton snapped this photo while trekking through the Himalayas in 1951. So this is before the
Mhm.
Patterson one, alleging that the footprint belonged to a Yeti in 2014. Christie's auction house in London capitalized on the worldwide interest in Bigfoot and sold the original photo for nearly $5,000.
Dang, I need to
way.
make some Bigfoot evidence.
Yeah.
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 Whoa. No way.
I'm getting on that tomorrow. Bigfoot lives in the desert now. I'm telling you.
Sarah said, "Snow Whoville. Need I say more?"
Telling you.
This is crazy.
I can't believe this is
Oh.
convincing me that the Grinch is real more than Bigfoot. Like
I
this
can't
is
believe it.
this
Yeah,
is upsetting.
It's true.
Who would have thought we would have went here? This was not in the game plan. This is great. Wow.
I
Julie
believe
believes
in
in the Yeti. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Julie believes in the Yeti.
The
She knows
Yeti,
what's
the
going on.
Yeti, the Yeti, I think could make more sense because it's in these like remote Himalayan mountains and stuff. Like, good luck trying to find that.
That's a good
Well,
point.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the stories, I mean, again, some of it is pretty damn convincing. And those are definitely areas where it's just going to be so hard to camp and to research and to actually be there for any given amount of time so that you could actually see something. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah. It's too easy to manufacture a print. That's just doesn't convince me.
Especially in the snow.
Yeah.
Like, you can make that with your hand,
You could.
Right.
Good.
like literally. So
And that toe
Yeah.
shape, I mean, that's what's throwing me off, man. Like, that's just not a real, that can't be a real toe.
I love that. It can't be a real
Yeah.
toe.
It's really the toe, man. That's what's bothering me the most. Like, I don't know, man. Not
Yeah.
feeling it. Not vibing with that one.
Me either.
he needs to
All
go to a
right.
foot doctor.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
His feet
All
are
right.
too big.
Ha,
All right.
ha.
Move
Okay.
on.
Let's move on to the next one. The Independence Day Bigfoot. Ooh. Now look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. As
That
I'm
looks
looking at it.
photoshopped to me, guys.
Yeah, it does kind of look. It looks like
Well, yeah, a little bit,
somebody
yeah.
put that in there.
Yeah.
Why is it called the Independence Day Bigfoot? Is this when we got our independence from the aliens and Bigfoot came out to show support?
Yeah.
It says called the Independence Day film. A beast was caught in a remarkably clear video that shows an alleged adult Bigfoot walking through the woods with a cub in tow.
Oh.
Filmmaker and
Oh, I've
exact
seen that
location
video.
are unknown, and many skeptics claim that there is a telling visible seam of a gorilla suit.
Yeah, I've seen this video,
Oh.
Ooh.
and the video looks like unbelievably fake. Like, it's not even like a good. Yeah, and I know what video this is. Yeah, I still didn't really clarify why it's the Independence Day Bigfoot. It just said
Right.
it's the Independence Day film, right? So
Yeah,
I'm assuming
I
this
don't
was
know.
taken on Independence Day.
That's
Probably,
the only thing that makes
yeah.
sense to me.
This is a patriotic Bigfoot.
You just see Will Smith grabbing the Bigfoot, and dragging him like, "You made me have to." Like,
Nice.
So yeah, no, this is nonsense.
Yeah, it looks like it is nonsense. All right, let's go to one more here. The Provo Canyon Bigfoot. Hard to really see anything, but that can be a good thing as far as, possibly.
This dude snuck up on Bigfoot. That's what this guy did. Be very, very quiet.
It's
Very,
the
very
shape of
quiet.
it. It just doesn't seem as big as what I would imagine Bigfoot would be, you know?
Maybe he's sitting. Maybe he's squatting.
he
Maybe he's
taking
a
a-
Sasquatch.
Ah,
Oh man.
that's squatting.
Wow.
Why?
We're going there.
Oh yeah.
So Jake, what do you think?
Okay, let me read the thing real quick. So in October 2012, a group of siblings hiking in Provo Canyon thought they spotted a bear in the woods and started filming. When the creature stood up on two legs, the hikers ran, abruptly ending the shaky video. A year later, the siblings launched a Kickstarter campaign to investigate other Utah Bigfoot sightings. Oh, they're trying to make
So it is a
money.
bear. So it is a
Yeah.
bear. Because
Yeah.
bears can stand up on two legs. It happens. all
Oh
the time.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So it is.
yeah.
So it was just a bear.
See, that looks more like a bear to me than Bigfoot, man.
It does. It does.
Mhm.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
basically is somebody saw a bear and wanted to make. Did they make any money?
Look up the Kickstarter, man. Actually, that's a great question.
The
Oh, my
Kickstarter.
gosh.
Yeah,
I want to know, like, imagine, dude. I swear, if they made like 10 grand off of this, we're in the wrong business, gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm buying the
You're
bear
starting a
costume
Kickstarter
tonight.
tomorrow.
Exactly, dude.
Dude. Yeah, I will front. I will front the money to get a costume made, and I'm telling you, we're gonna be rich. Like, how did you make your millions, Bigfoot?
Bigfoot. Oh man. Okay. So I guess we're on agreement with that one. Let's do one more. I wanted to get one that would really kind of get us. The Allegheny Bigfoot. What the
Oh.
hell is that?
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say what it looks like to me, but
Yeah, be careful, bro.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. I plead the fifth on this one.
All right, so what do you guys think? It definitely looks weird.
Well, it's bending over.
Yeah.
Oh, it is all right.
Might be like running on all fours or
It
something.
looks like it's either that or it's picking something up from the floor or ground. You know.
Is there another one like right next to it? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I see that.
They're making a little baby Bigfoot, is what they're doing.
Oh wow.
Oh, well, I guess the question is there something in
little
front of
foot.
it? That's what we don't know.
See, I don't
Wow.
see it humping anything. That's my.
I don't either.
Not yet. Dude,
Unless you can't see it.
it's ready. It's waiting for the other one to come.
He
And-
said
It's
it's
giving
ready.
a mating call.
And it's gonna make a little foot. Like
Oh.
and-
Oh, my
Oh my
What
god.
was it land before time? Oh, little foot. It's
It
weird how
looks
my
weird,
brain-
man. It looks
Doesn't this-
really, really
Doesn't this look like an AI generated image? Like you ever see those on your feed?
Yeah, I could see it being that. Yeah.
Chat GPT.
It gives me like Chat GPT vibes. It says this is from 2007, so like that wouldn't make sense. But I don't know. There's something about this photo that gives me like AI generated image vibes. But I don't know.
Mm, what about
Maybe
you,
it's just Bigfoot being horny. I don't know.
Steve? Maybe. Oh my god.
Who's to
What do
say?
you,
Wasn't there a claim that somebody like that Bigfoot tried to like what them?
What?
oh
I
man.
swear, wasn't there a claim a couple years ago about somebody like that? And it was some like weird person, and everyone just like kind of laughed it off. What if? That's
Oh,
real?
no.
What if?
He
Just
said, oh no.
that's too bad.
That is
That's,
bad.
that's way too bad.
That's far
Imagine-
too bad.
Look, let me phrase this without getting canceled off the internet.
He actually had to stop and think. That was great.
Yeah.
Imagine, because, like, I don't want this to come across like anything because it's not funny, but this would just be weird. Imagine if this that happened to you
Yeah.
from a Bigfoot.
Oh,
Oh man, we're
What do
stepping
you
in
do?
dangerous waters here.
Like, what do you
Wow.
do? Because no one would believe
So
you.
what do you do?
No one would believe
after you go to the hospital,
Yeah, but
from-
like
probably getting severe damage in places you don't want to be damaged.
Like, I mean, yeah,
You
it's
know what I'm
just
saying?
but, like
I like how we're
imagine trying to
skipping around on
explain.
this.
Imagine trying to explain that to people.
Right.
Imagine being like, oh, like, dude, I was in the woods and a Bigfoot came and took my manhood. Like what do you like? How do you
Couldn't walk
explain
for a
that to
month.
people? Like,
Imagine trying to walk around.
yeah, I mean, assuming the Bigfoot's Bigfoot,
That's what I'm saying,
what if-
dude. You
What
couldn't
if
even
it's a
sit
little
down.
foot? What if it's a little foot? So.
I don't
But-
think it'll be a little foot. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's
Oh.
like we talked about with the alien thing, right? It's like imagine if like you were one of those people that were like, abducted by aliens, or like that one guy that saw like Megatron, right?
What? Okay, why do
What?
every time we talk about like things that don't exist, why do we always come down to potentially having sex with it? Like, why is that always gets thrown into the
Always
conversation?
answer.
Kind of
That's
always
all-
the thing.
That's
That's-
a small portion of the
Didn't we
program.
talk about
Yeah.
like if we had to volunteer to like bang aliens? Like we were like, yeah, why not?
No. No.
Is that did that not get brought up?
It
Have
did.
you guys seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
I thought I hallucinated that for a second.
No, you
Um,
didn't
Nah.
hallucinate it.
Have you guys seen that movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yes.
Yes.
Like where he says it perfectly. Like I want to be the first guy to fucking a Martian. Like, oh, there he goes. The
Oh,
guy fucking
wow.
Martian. Like,
Wow.
like
Wow.
Wow.
We're going in. We're just
survival
Yeah.
or
So
have you
is
seen Hot
Bigfoot,
Tub Time Machine
apparently.
2 when he's like, why are you fucking that lion? And he's like, power over nature. That's what it is. That's what it would be. Power over nature.
Well,
Is it so?
let me just tell you, and I'm not trying to really go there, but I guess I am.
You are.
But here's the thing you got to think about. If you're out in nature like this, unless you happen to have brought this with you, I don't see Bigfoot here carrying any type of, let's just say,
Protection.
anything. Well, that, but not only that, that's a good point. But also, don't see him bring anything to help ease the situation. There is no bottle of you know what to help
raw.
make things easier to get going.
What
There
if,
you
And-
go.
what if Bigfoot's self-lubricating?
Well,
Wow.
all I can say is you're talking about you're in for some pain. That's
too bad.
pain, brother.
Here come the
now-
pain.
This
Yeah.
brings up a bigger question. Do animals use something to I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna get onto
But
this conversation on the
Bigfoot.
internet.
We don't know,
Um,
Jake, right? It's
Yo,
We don't know.
I mean,
don't
that's a good
know.
point.
Bigfoot just sets the mood. He just got some candlelight. He's like massaging your shoulders.
Oh,
You about to
Wow.
fly out, son. Like, oh damn.
I'm just saying, man. Hospital visit 30 days, and you may walk in 60 if you recover. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
We've
Once
lost
you're a
5
Bigfoot,
people in
you
the
end
last
up in a
couple of
wheelchair.
minutes.
and it's totally understandable.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Thank you
Oh,
for still
gosh.
being here. We
Yeah.
appreciate you all.
Thank you,
This is the
Julie.
stuff people want to hear.
Julie
Oh,
understands it.
man.
Those are Julie's comments. She understands.
Yeah. Oh
Going on.
man. Wow.
You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
What is what? All
I'm
right.
just saying.
Wow.
Things
All
you got to
right.
think about now if you ever go hiking again. I mean, who's not going to think about this if you go hiking in the woods? You
What
know
if
what I
I
mean?
can- what if I can-
Come prepared.
What if I get just slammed by Bigfoot?
Oh man. Wow. Well, as we start to wind down, that's where we went, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of fear.
Yes.
Julie said hiking is ruined for me now.
Don't hike alone in the woods.
Don't go in the
No.
woods alone.
Never hike alone, as they said in the
Never
movie.
hike alone.
That's
there
right.
You
You never. All right, guys. So how about if I don't even know if we should do this. Any final thoughts on what we've talked about? I'll start with you, Jake, and we'll go around the panel.
What I've learned is that if we're gonna go Bigfoot hunting, I'm clenching my butt cheeks the entire time, and that no,
Yep.
that's a fair assessment after this conversation. No, honestly, like final closing statements. There's a lot of weird, unexplainable things in this world that I genuinely do believe in. Like, I think aliens, they're out there, man. There's just too many factors to ignore with that. But with Bigfoot, I just feel like this is one of those things that is like very much so a hoax. There's a lot of evidence supporting that more so than there is that they're actually out there. And I agree with Fate, who was saying earlier that like if Bigfoot is out there, if there is Bigfoots, like it's a race of people that live in the woods or whatever, we would have found them by now. I mean, we literally have technology that can show us like any place on the planet, like at any given time. Like someone would have caught it by now at some point on the internet. So that's just my take on it. But obviously we have some people in the chat that do believe, and that's awesome. We respect everyone's opinions around here. That's why we do this. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's fun to talk about these things. Just because I think it might not be real doesn't mean it's not.
never
Amen.
know.
Yeah.
Amen. Fate.
Well, like I said, is it possible that there's things out there in this world we haven't discovered yet? Absolutely. Right? There's like I said, we discover new species of animal constantly. Like every year, we're discovering new, insects and species and marine life and all kinds of stuff, right? So is there something in these remote woods, these dense woods, possibly, or like these Himalayan mountains and stuff? Like, yeah, I mean, I don't rule out the possibility. I just lean towards like there's just so many people actively trying to find this stuff. You would think that there'd be something like the problem is there's been no real evidence. And I'm not even talking about a picture or a photo. I'm talking about a real footprint, a real turd like on the floor that there hasn't been anything that's like, oh, this is clear cut evidence that there's something out there. It's mostly just people's accounts and recollection of something that happened, but we all know how flawed that can be. Like those girls, like in the one example, right? They thought what they saw was a bear, and then it stood up on 2 legs. Like that's what bears do. But if you're
Right.
somebody that doesn't know that, and you run into something that you think is a bear, and you see it just stand up, like now that's not a bear to you anymore because you didn't know bears do that. So now you run with this story of like, yeah, I saw a Bigfoot because it stood on two legs or whatever, and then that becomes it stood on two legs and it had a smell, like, and then that becomes it had two legs, it had a smell, and it had this made this noise I never heard before, and then it's like, oh yeah, and then it had and then it talked to me, like it's just like people add usually when they have some crazy story, things get added to over time. You're telling a story, it's very rarely the same story, especially when you don't really know what happened. So I lean towards it's more likely than not, but as Mario said, if Bigfoot is a Laker fan, then I believe.
There you go. How about you, Steven? It's too
Oh
funny.
my gosh. Yeah, I pretty much with fate on this. I'm not going to say I don't believe. I'm going to say it's possible. Like I say, my buddy who I've known for 10, 20, 30 years has no motivation to make things up. He's just talking to me. And so it's like, there's no reason to make a story to tell me. So I know he's seen and heard something, so I don't know what it is, or I don't think he really knows what it is either, but it's something that's unique and different. So I think it's possible that there's something out there, but I also do agree with the technology and all this time of searching. You think we would have been able to root them out or root one out somewhere, and so that's So I'm on the fence. I'll say if one day we really see proof, real proof, man, like legitimate proof, like you capture one, that's proof. We capture it, examine it. Okay, this is the real deal. It's not a costume. Then absolutely, I'll be like 100% believe. But I also won't deny it for those who do believe, because I do think it's possible. I'm not going to be so arrogant as to say they don't exist, because I don't know that. I have not been to all these locations, so I can't say that with a good conscience. So I think it's possible, but I think a lot of the things we see that they claim to be, those are not real. I think most of those are people's attempts, especially now, to get attention, recognition, those kind of things. Be the next Patterson, if you will. So that's where I cash out on it. But I will say this: if you're hiking, based on my buddy's experience, now he wasn't hiking, but he's out in the deep woods of Tennessee. If you smell a vile, wretched scent, a musty, vile scent, run away from the smell. Run away from that smell quickly is all I'm going to say.
I mean, imagine if you were the first, there's all kinds of species that are out there. It might not even be a Bigfoot. It could be something else.
It could.
It could.
If you're not familiar, if you haven't seen it, and there's even animals that we've known about for 100 years that you've probably never even heard of, right? You'll see things like I'll randomly come across something and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, is that from some sci-fi movie? And it's like, oh no, this thing was discovered in 1850, and it's like I've never seen that before in my life. I didn't even know that was a thing, and it just looks like some alien creature, So I mean, again, if you are in the woods and you just stumble across something that, imagine being the first person to find a bear, right? Or to find, be the first person to find, even just a deer or something. You're like, what is this alien? To you, it's this monster. It's why a lot of those depictions from ancient civilizations and stuff, their depiction of just birds or these giant falcons. But you look at it and it's oh, it was just a hummingbird. It's but they depicted it this because they've never seen it before. So anyway, and
heck yeah, man.
Look, also, if people truly believe in something, it becomes reality, right? So if you truly believe that, it's now your reality.
Well, I think for me, I echo a lot of what you guys have said. It's you don't know for sure, right? You just don't know. You don't have 100% all-knowing ability. So kind of what I said in the beginning of the stream, there's no doubt in my mind that they definitely could have been this creature or creatures or variations of this creatures at some point. but it is telling that we haven't found any type of evidence, you know. So that's the part that always kind of is a stick in my mind. But it's interesting nonetheless to talk about it, and even with these stories and accounts and so forth that have been proven to be false, it's still you know, there's a part of me, maybe it's that inner child that's kind of like, oh well, maybe, you know. And it's really
Sure.
it's entertaining and fascinating in that sense, because there
Mhm.
is so much, like you guys said earlier, there's so much on this about this planet that we don't know, whether it's in the deep forests and the mountains and the Himalayas and in the ocean and so forth. So
Yep.
that's where I end up on it too. I don't know, but I'm still fascinated by that story, just like I was when I was a little kid. So for you guys in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was a really really fun discussion,
Yeah, it
and we
was.
definitely we went into some places literally. So thank you all for joining us on this journey, and for you guys that, you know, became channel members, seriously, that was just really amazing to see that in live time. It's always fun to see that while we're live, so that we can give you guys our thanks and just appreciation for what you do for us. So anyways, we will
Yeah.
catch you guys later, so have a great day.
Hey, hey, Knight, before you sign off for us, can I
Sure.
just say one real quick thing?
Yeah.
This is our last show before Christmas. Next Monday is
true.
Christmas Day, so
That is
we'll
true.
be we will not be here next Monday. We'll be with our families. It's Christmas Day, and we encourage you all to do the same if you're able to, or with your friends or what have you. So I just wanted to say before we signed off, and I'll get it back tonight. A big Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Gleeful Collective. We hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, wonderful
Yeah.
Christmas. We love you, and we thinking about you guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks with some groovy stuff. So be sure you're ready to go in 2 weeks. But enjoy your Christmas.
Start the new
month.
year.
That's right.
That's
Start
right.
the new year.
The new
That's
year
right.
with a bang. With the collective
bang.
bang.
Big time. Big time.
There you go. I like that. With a big bang. There you go. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much, and we will catch you guys later. Have a good holiday, and as always, the collective has spoken. Peace.
Peace
Bye,
out.
guys. Merry Christmas.